Morning traders, and this is your Aussie JSE Top 40 day trade setup for today. So 3 days in a row, we've got sellers stepping in off the level. Left those levels in that I drew for you yesterday, so they're still on the chart. And you can see we're pretty much playing around inside that range. So those are my two lines in the sand right now. Okay, another green day, but there's a bit of crappy data inside there. So let me just eliminate that quickly. That was our close, and that was our open. In other words, what you can see is we should have a small green body with a massive tail. Okay, this candle here is crap data. So if I come back to the daily, you'll see what I mean. So it's pretty spot on. So there's my massive tail, and that is my body. So the daily candle is pretty much how it finished. Look at my oscillator starting to creep the upside. This is looking very tired. Okay, not something that I want to be chasing long at the moment. I prefer to see a bit of a pullback before getting back in. Now, bear one thing in mind. This has been a really strong uptrend. So it's not just going to reverse. V reversals are very rare. So it's going to consolidate, and it's either going to consolidate and push further higher, or it's going to consolidate a bit further and then break below this tail here. And then immediately it's going to be looking at every open, close, every tail for structure, because there's nothing further to the left. Okay, other thing is that you've got futures close out next week, and we have a long weekend on South Africa that kicks off today. So Monday's a public holiday, so what you can expect out of this is a little bit of sideways motion as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so let's just get to some levels we can trade. Okay, just bear with me now. I'm going to leave all those lines in. Just move it in the middle. So trend it up. Now you can see in the 3 hour, you can see the structure it's forming. There's my range. So we should be looking for long off the bottom and short off the top. Okay, it's pretty well defined. We've got two fractals to the downside, two fractals to the upside. Okay, no indication on the 3 hour oscillators. Trend is still up. And even if we pop down to this area here, the trend is still technically up. Okay, so until we reject this level properly and then break through whatever pullback we have, that trend is up. Okay, so am I looking for longs in this area? Definitely not. If it does fall, there's a short scalp available, and then we're looking for structure. To me, it would be around 51,400, somewhere around there, for me to actually look for a medium-term long again. Okay, so for now, and you see as I go through the hour, you can see much better structure forming here. Okay, now the other thing too, there's a couple of things that are at play here. Now I'm just going to, now I can delete that one. And this is very typical of a range. So you can see here we had a double top. Double top target was met with a gap down. Okay, we closed a gap. We didn't quite close it, but we came pretty close to it. Buyer stepped in. Okay, we had a breakout. There's a trend line here. There it is there. So we had a breakout and a retest. There it is. And we rallied. Now the top, so you can almost argue you've got a double top here. Okay, nothing on the oscillators except for this area here. We've got a crossover and we're pointing down. Okay, so logic right now, because there is a little wedge here as well. There it is there. Okay, so there's a wedge, there's been a breakdown. I'm looking for a move to the downside, and my most logical target is bottom of the range. Okay, so often what happens inside a range is you've got lots of different bits of structure. Here you can see was an engulfing, and it didn't play out that day, but it played out the next day. Okay, so everywhere you can see pin bar, double pin bar, not quite a tweezer top, but double top, move down. Yeah, you can see indecision bar, and actually that's a piercing pattern as well. You can see we opened above the close, and then we closed halfway into this body. Forget the tails for now, that's a piercing pattern, that's a reversal, and we reversed. Okay, we've closed with an inside bar. So what could be happening here is two scenarios. First scenario is that's our move up, and now I'm looking for a second move up. Because what's happened here is it's come into a 61.8 Fibonacci before the buyers stepped in. But I don't think it was buyers, I think it was more like people taking profit, but they took profit at the 61.8 Fibonacci. Okay, but now that is another setup for a move to the upside. Okay, now the confusing part about ranges is often you get these setups where you get a breakout of a trend line. You could even argue that it was a triangle. I think we spoke about that yesterday. Okay, so we've had it break out of the triangle. We haven't really had a retest of that. But if I do that, we have had a test. Okay, so the challenge with these things, with ranges, is that you've got lots of structure inside the range, which would indicate moves to the downside as well as moves to the upside. I mean, if I just now go to the 4 hour and delete all the noise, you can see inside bar, tweezer top. So that's a double reversal pattern. On the lower time frames, I've got structure that is pointing for a move to the upside. So this is the challenge with ranges, and that's exactly what a range is. It is confusion. So you've got buyers and sellers on different time frames that are trying to move the market in a direction. Okay. So for me today on the Aussie, I think we pretty much, I'll be surprised if we do make another high. Not impossible. And I'll also be fairly surprised if we make a new low. And then the last thing around this structure is if I draw that line in, you can see 3 or more touches on a trend line defines a pretty strong trend for me. But if I delete this line here, what do you see? Ignore this bar here. That's crap data. But what do you see? That's a flat top triangle. Okay, it's not finished yet, but it's fairly strong in its formation. Okay, so putting this all together, Rand dollar 14.87, that's fairly flat from yesterday. 10 cent down 0.36% at the moment. And I see Nasdaq didn't really fall much yesterday. Anyway, US markets are flat and completely confused. Chinese markets are slightly down, but down to flat, so they're also very confused. So I would pretty much suggest that we're going to continue in this triangle, or even what's going to happen is we're going to pop down to bottom of the range here, maybe come and close this gap properly, because this tail here is not a close for me. I don't even think it's happened on the 5 minutes. No, it didn't happen on the 5 minute either. So you can see there's my gap close, and we didn't get a close of it. So what I want to see is a body that closes on it or below it, not a tail. So this gap is still open for me. Okay, so, and if you look at the 5 minute, you can see the structure. The trend is down on the 5 minutes. We had profit taking here, and then some people scaled in for another short here overnight. So I think we are still aiming for this downward area here. Obviously, we have to break through this trend line, which would then break the triangle and make the range bigger. But anyway, that's kind of what I see today. Is more of the same. So if you want to trade this, what you want to be doing is trading off a 5 minute chart, or even 5, 6. I don't know if 15 or 12. You can see it's going to be so volatile with the 15 or the the 12-minute chart. So you're way better off on a 5-minute, where you can trade the swings way better. Only challenge with that is that you're going to have to sit and watch the charts all day, and I don't have patience for that right now. So anyway, for me, I think staying out of this, as with the Dow Jones, I think there's a decent long setup on the Dax. You can watch that on the Dax video. But for me, this market and the Dow Jones pretty much are moving sideways, no clear-cut direction. So it's range-bound. If you want to trade it, trade in the lower time frames. But it is Friday and long weekend in South Africa. So I think I'm just going to keep my money in my pocket and we'll pick it up next week. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. I hope it helps, and I'll catch you later. Cheers for now.